so many leaders and people with leadership gifts and skills have been in hiding. Last week alone, I actually had the fortune, this divine encounter, 3 separate times that I was able to encounter people who had natural leadership abilities. And when I asked them, we got engaged in these awesome conversations. And within moments, we were sharing very vulnerably. And I just met these people for the first time. And in one of those encounters, I was able to speak into the life of one of those leaders. And another encounter, one of those leaders spoke into my life. And it was groundbreaking. It was impressive. It was stirring. And I hadn't been stirred like that, moved like that in a long time at a spiritual level. And as we got talking with these leaders last week, again, these 3 specific encounters we had, and I pay attention to things that happen in threes. I'm always looking for omens like this. But as I ran into these 3 leaders, all 3 of them, and me included, expressed something that was this: I know I'm born to lead. I know what my calling is. I know what I'm passionate about. I know what I want to do with my time and my energy. But I'm hesitating to step into that leadership role. I'm hesitating to step in and actually start leading. Good morning, Yourlandia. I hope India, I guess it is. I hope you're doing fantastic. So last week, as I ran into these leaders, I encountered people that knew the price of leadership. You see, around COVID, most all people that had a budding leadership role in their communities, in their churches, in their businesses, they actually breathed a sigh of relief. People who have the leadership gift knows what it takes to lead, and it takes everything. To get people to focus beyond their screens, to get people to take a movement beyond just walking their dogs and taking care of their property and just waking up and going to work and humdrum. Inside of everybody, they want more. But certain people are born to lead. I believe leaders, and anyone can lead. Anyone can learn to lead. But I believe this species gives birth to certain people who have the intonation, the inflection, the presence, the ambience, the drive, and desire to actually lead. I do believe there are some natural born leaders. And if you're watching this today, I believe that you are one of those natural born leaders. I believe you have a natural gift to hear people and to speak life into them and to get them moving. But this problem that I encountered with talking with these leaders I talked with last week was that we all feel that weight of responsibility, and we know the cost of leading. That cost is everything. The cost of leadership is focus. And we got really comfortable post-COVID years. And this is why I say that in COVID, a lot of people in leadership roles were relieved because the responsibility was off them. It's like when you go and take a flight somewhere, I get suddenly relieved because no one can reach me when my phone is in the air and I can rest. This is what leadership felt back in COVID times. People born to lead, they felt this relief because there was a very well-formed and legitimate excuse to not get people together in gatherings and to not basically lead people into movements, into churches, into businesses, whatever that leadership is, into a political movement or a protest or whatever it was. We were off the hook with a very valid excuse. And so we found that a lot of people with budding leadership stepped into hiding. They let their leadership skills grow a little rusty. The gift and the drive is always there. The gift and the drive to lead has never left us, but we were kind of off the hook. And if I am speaking to you, and if you are a leader who's hearing this and thinks, yep, that's me. I know I'm called, but I'm hesitating from getting people going. I'm procrastinating from putting my message out there. I'm procrastinating even dusting off my purpose and my mission statement and asking myself, do I really want to fire things up again? Today is for you. So today we are going to cover a framework that I'm using. And it's a framework I've put together for myself to re-engage with my own leadership. And I want to make it available to you because I suspect this. If you are a natural born leader, or if you've been in leadership positions in the past, I suspect that as soon as you start the thing going, it will come like a flood. It will flow through you. You will be ready to lead, and it will happen, and there'll be this flow going on. And usually when a leader gets caught into flow, they're unstoppable. So my framework, the acronym today is LIGHT. It's the LIGHT framework because you're going to bring your light back to people, and the message you have for folks, You're going to bring it full scale, swinging, coming out of the gate swinging. That's what we're going to cover today. So, but before we do anything, we always start with morning cup of gratitude. What are you grateful for this morning? I want to hear in the comments. Tell me what you're grateful for, and I'm going to start. I'm grateful for the leadership in people that is awakening. I'm having these divine encounters everywhere. And everywhere I talk to people, leadership is awakening inside of them. And they are expressing this desire to step out from hiding, if you will, step out of their procrastination and step into the catalyst of change that they were made to be. So I'm grateful for you if you're a leader and you have that in you. I'm grateful for you today. I'm grateful for rest this weekend. I'm grateful for recharge this weekend. I'm grateful for this warm cup of gratitude. What are you grateful for? And I'm telling you, if you cannot take this opportunity and post in the comments what you're grateful for, you are constipated and you are taking the very action that limits your leadership, holding back. You are rehearsing, holding back. We talk to a lot of people about their social media, and I view social media as a personal development tool. It's a mirror more than anything. I don't want to be exposed to the trolls. I don't want people to hate on me. I don't want to be cringy. You are literally rehearsing the skill of not leading because you are limiting yourself and you are rehearsing the skill of holding back your voice. And if you are rehearsing holding back your voice, you are by default, when you hear a leadership opportunity, you'll hold your voice back. I remember a story of John Maxwell in an airport, and his plane got delayed. He was flying out of Atlanta, and they were at the gate, and there's a bunch of people, and they were already a little angsty, and it was a little warm in the airport, and everyone's uncomfortable. And the last minute, the attendant had to come on and say, sorry, we have to delay or cancel this flight. Go to the counter. People started grumbling and grumbling. And the unction, the leadership urge came over John Maxwell, and he realized he had a moment to make a decision. I'm either going to speak this thing that's inside of me or I'm going to hold back. And what he did is he bought Cokes for everyone. He went and got a whole handful of Cokes and started handing them out. And anyone he put that Coke in their hand to, he had a moment to connect with their eyes and said, give me just a second. And he stood up in front of these people and he cast vision. And instead of grumbling, they said, well, we'll wait to see if we can't get the next flight. And he changed the entire tone of that space just by listening to the leadership unction to speak out. But how cringy is that? How cringy is it to a stranger walk up and give them a Coke bottle? It's completely strange. It's admittedly odd. Leadership has to overcome that resistance inside of you, which is often cringy. So what I'm grateful for today, this is just my morning cup of gratitude. I'm grateful to those of you who listen to the leadership unction and the leadership urge and step out and say the thing, especially if it's thought through and it's crafted and you believe in it at your core from a leadership perspective. I'll drink to that. Tell me what you're grateful for in the comments. I see the 5 of you, 6 of you, 8 of you, 4 of you. I see you popping in and out. Share with me what you're grateful for in the comments. If you're on X or Twitter, if you're on LinkedIn, I see you there. Tell me what you're grateful for. Let's talk about the light framework real quick. So here's the major problem. You have felt the pull to lead, but your fears of cringe, lack of inertia. I'm telling you, leadership is a momentum game because you get this feedback loop as soon as you step out, and the feedback loop comes back to you and it continues to feed that thing. But you lack inertia, especially since, like I said, COVID and some of these times. And the group that you're trying to lead, or the cause that you're trying to stir, or the church that you're trying to lead, or the nonprofit, or the business, or just the movement that you're trying to get going is completely dormant. That's the problem. And here's what's worse. With what's going on in the world today, we're being drained even more. Institutional trust is absolutely at an all-time low. Trusting any form of leadership, we're starting to distrust our federal agencies. We're starting to distrust our trust in the future. And so and then the gurus come along and they make these promises and then they just sell you something. Trust is at an all-time low. People are not hearing it from anybody. So not only are you rusty in your leadership skills, the public is not, they have this unction to follow, but they're lacking they're massively lacking trust. They feel disconnected. They feel isolated. They're skeptical at nearly every pitch. They're skeptical at every phone call. Is it robo-dialer or spammer? They're skeptical at every email. What good is this for me? And even if it's a client with something good, there's this idea that it's going to be a bill or it's going to be a promo or an advertisement. Social spaces are being let down. People are shutting down their social initiatives, which has a big kind of disappointment of its own. Trust has eroded and people are feeling completely lost. Sidebar, that's the right environment for leadership, but it's also the challenge. And anyone worth their salt in leadership, anyone that's held a leadership role knows, man, this is going to be tough, but this is what I was made for. I want you to say that to yourself. If you are not willing to comment what you're grateful for today in the comments, shame on you. And I say that in love, but you should at least be able to know, oh my gosh, this is the time is right. Anyone worth their salt and who has served in a leadership position knows that the time is right for leaders right now. You know, it's like being a business owner and knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt, which is rare, knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt that the business deal is good. Most business opportunities and business deals, the answer is no. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to take this business opportunity. Like 95% of all business opportunities, it's just a hard no. But once in a while, as an entrepreneur, you hear something and be like, I need to do this. This is the parallel in leadership. When you see society the way it is right now, and you see the lack of trust in the public, and you see that there's not a lot of good leaders, and by good leaders, I mean not only leaders that are influential and skilled at being a leader, that could go good or bad, but they also want to lead people into a good place. When we see the church absolutely crumbling before our eyes, watching the socials, and I don't mean that people of faith themselves are crumbling, I mean the institution of the church in its current form. I mean, there's next to no leadership, and the default public view is that all leaders are taking advantage of us. You see these things and you know that the time is right for good leaders. But that also means it's the toughest time to step in. We know this. So here's my 5-point framework called LIGHT, L-I-G-H-T. And I have it there because your light needs to shine in your group. But this is also the step-by-step process that you as a leader can slowly step back into your role of leadership. Because sometimes I think, yes, we got all these emotional reasons to not step up. As people who have served in leadership positions in the past, we know that it's going to be a heavy toll on us. We know it's going to be a heavy price. We know it's going to be time consuming. Yeah, that time I spend in the evening cuddled up on the couch, that's going to diminish. I might have to get out there. Those early bedtimes, I might have to exchange those early bedtimes and some of that fun just to invest in the leadership position. Yes. And that's why we, and I'm pointing at me, have been procrastinating it. And the leaders that I ran into, these divine encounters I had last week that I mentioned before, these leaders echoed the same thing. Man, it's gotten so comfortable in my little safe space. And I don't have to convince people, but I know I should. My 5-point framework is a process I'm going to deploy for myself, and I'm going to give it to you on how I'm going to re-engage in my leadership function on this planet. Because again, there are some people that were born as catalysts for the species. I believe the human species is an intelligent thing. And I believe that it's divinely beautiful. And I believe it gives birth to what it needs to give birth to for the species, not only to survive, but to thrive. And I believe this species has born certain people with certain traits for different demographics to be catalysts of change for good. And I believe that's you. I believe that's you if you're watching. So here's my framework real quick. I just want to lead this framework with this. The disillusioned public yearns for clarity, trust, and community. And that is ultimately what you provide. Clarity, trust, and community. The world is lacking trust. You need to show them that there are things worthy of being trustworthy about. It's lacking clarity because there's double speak left and right in synthetic content from AI. And I love AI. But are we lacking clarity because of this? We don't know what to trust. We don't know whether or not what we're seeing is real. As leaders, we bring that clarity. As leaders, we help re-nurture that trust. And along the way, we bring the fellowship of the ring. We bring community. You're the voice they're waiting for to bring clarity, trust, and community. Authentic leadership stems from these things. And strong transitions for you, strong transitions for you as a leader, whether it's traumas, church trauma, whether you deconstructed your faith, whether you lost faith in nonprofit work, whether you're just trying to get your own bag from entrepreneurship because you've helped so many other people, but now it's time for you to focus on you. Whatever that hiatus is can become the growth catalyst for yourself if processed through reflection and self-awareness. Let's talk about the light framework. Step one, number one, you have to lead first. You have to lead first. You have to start with the mirror before the mic. That's my phrase. Grab that, write that down. You have to start with the mirror before you start with the mic. A lot of people just want to show up on charisma only. Listen, you are not as good as you think you are just to show up with charisma. Yes, you might have the leadership gift. And when I am at my peak game, meaning when I have been in that leadership role, when I'm doing my personal study, when I'm doing my personal journaling, when I'm cultivating daily for hours on end like I do at the gym, when I am doing that on the regular, yes, I can step into the mic because I have so much inputs already in me that I am just a flood of leadership. I'm a flood of that voice that people need to hear. When I'm at peak game, I can do that. But if you have been on a hiatus, you, my friend, are not at peak game. You feel like you're as athletic as you were in your 20s as it comes to leadership, but I am here to tell you, you are not. Start with the mirror before the mic. Recenter your purpose. And how do I know? I talk to a lot of leaders and I ask them, what's your mission? I don't know. What's your purpose? I don't know. What are you convicted about? Who's the enemy? I don't know. Good morning, Netza. Netza Rodriguez jumping on from Facebook. How's it going? Good morning, sir. If you can see that on YouTube, he's down there. You don't see that on TikTok or Instagram. But as a leader, you need to recenter with your purpose. You need to be able to say it clear. And we covered this in last week's show about vision casting. We even covered a little bit in the week before that about building your cult during tough times. But before you go public, you need to recodify in your soul. You need to be convicted to tears about your thing. Good morning to you too, Netza, man. So before you post, before you invite people on that trip, before you invite people to your coffee, before you invite people into your program, you need to get a deep-seated conviction. This step cannot be avoided. You have to reconnect with your deep-seated conviction. A leader has gotten rusty when they sit on the couch and we avoid leadership roles and we think, no, I'm just leading myself. I'm leading my little team. I'm doing my little thing. I'm doing okay. You're not leading the way you were born to lead because you are not convicted to tears to get off your butt and take massive action. That's how I know you're convicted. So if you're waffling and procrastinating, you're not convicted. It's as simple as that. I've been doing this show. This is episode 353 because I am convicted in my soul that people need to be encouraged and inspired to take massive action to lead in their world. I ignite lives. They need to be ignited. I ignite lives of explosive significance, reaching 10,000 creators to lead in their field. That's what I do. I am convicted. How do I know? Because I've been getting up every single week since COVID, and we're on episode 353. How are you? Show me your proof of work. I can show you mine. Log into my YouTube. I've been harping like this on YouTube since then and before. I am convicted in my bone marrow. Step one, light. In the light acronym is lead first. To lead first, you have to be convicted in your bone marrow. And I'm not shaming you. I'm encouraging you. Find that place that you get triggered and you go there. And I don't care if it's for puppies. I don't care if it's for fiction novel writing. But if the thing you say is your thing that you want to lead people in, give them a voice, help them write their novel, passion. If I say that thing, you need to get triggered the way I get triggered when I talk about leading creators into leading in their field. That's how deep you need to be connected to your passion. So before you post, before you call that meeting, before you hit let's go, you must remember why you said yes to the calling. Otherwise, please do not step up. You will disappoint us all. Please do not step up. And you might step out to start testing that thing, as we have a step in a second to do that. but you're going to falter. It's a half measure. You're not really like, I'm going to go for it. You're like, maybe we'll see. That's not what I'm talking. I'm not looking for maybe we'll see. I'm looking for I'm stepping in and stepping up. That's what I need to see from you. This is the internal leadership reboot. It's not about leading others yet. It's about leading yourself. You need to reconnect with your purpose, not to lead others first, but to lead yourself in a massive action. So the L in light is lead first. Here's the action. Here's the action. This is your homework. Take 15 minutes and journal your non-negotiables. What values will you live by, no matter what? What values will you live by, no matter what? That when you hit life's crises, when you hit the challenges in life, and you're not sure, man, these are two options that I'm not really sure and I don't know what to do, you always can default to your values and go, what are my values? And like it or not, these values say I have to do X, Y, and Z and choose this one option. Then get the courage to do it. L in the light framework is to lead yourself first. I in the light framework is to illuminate the challenges. We said this last week about being radically honest about the reality of things. Illuminate the challenges. Light up the room by naming the elephant in it. You can increase the vibe in a room by naming the elephant in the room. I can't tell you how many parties as a young man I would go into, like house parties. You can go into a living room and everyone's just chilling. You walk in, you walk to the very center of the room, and you say out loud, well, this is a dud. Let's get going. Name the elephant in the room. And you're a part of it. You're not calling someone out. You're calling something out. Don't call people out. Call things out. Someone needs to step up and say, hey, man, what's going on societally is not right. Whatever your thing is, if it's a church thing, if it's a ministry thing, if it's a nonprofit thing, if it's a business thing, in business, you can do this. You can step into the room and go, hey, guys, everyone can admit, taking an example from the website company, everyone can admit the way websites are done sucks, right? Yeah, call out the elephant in the room and suddenly the room lightens. You've won people over by saying the thing, not calling someone out, calling it an atmosphere out that needs to change. Then you need to tie your cause to that thing. Because declining trust and isolation, information overload, people are just filtering stuff out that doesn't align with them. You call things out and they'll align with that because they see that same thing. Most people need your leadership because they cannot name the fog that they're living in. And that's where leaders come in like you. Leadership like you steps in to help them name the thing that they're struggling with. So here's your action. Under I, illuminate the challenges. Here's your action. Identify one problem in your industry, your community, your business, society, or audience that no one is naming, but everyone is feeling. Everyone's feeling it. Today's episode, I was wrestling over what happened last week, and I couldn't give a name to it. I was talking to these leaders who had gone into hiding all last week. And I was ruminating on them and going, man, what is going on? And then I was thinking about today's show. I was thinking about something else entirely. I was thinking about these paradoxes. I built an app over the weekend. But this thought of like, there's something here that couldn't leave me. And suddenly, calling leaders from hiding hit me. And nearly every leader I know senses that they are called for something more, but they've relegated themselves to hiding or procrastinating from walking in their calling. I called that out. And I'm calling it out right now for today's show. Leaders have to L, lead first, light themselves up first for a cause, and I, illuminate the challenge by calling out the elephant in the room. Again, you're not calling someone out, you're calling something out, right? In business, hey, to my team, I'm not calling anyone out, but we all know that our customer service really stinks and our clients are not happy with that, right? You're right. And there's this relief that we all know and we're all aware. And we got to solve that problem now. So if you're a leader and you've been doing half-ass leadership, I illuminate the challenge in the room. So step one, the mirror before the microphone. Make sure that you are lit up about this thing and passionate about it. I illuminate the challenge. Make sure everyone knows that we're on the same page. So you identify one problem in your industry and write it out, name it, something that everyone's feeling, and then write one sentence that names it clearly and compassionately. You have to name these things compassionately. G, L-I-G-H-T, G, in the light framework here, gather your core. This is where you're going to start to step out. This is the step in the process that I'm in. You're going to start to step out. Movements do not start with the masses. They start with a meal. Whoa, write that down. Movements do not start with the masses. They start with a meal. Do you know that the movement for the American Revolution and the Constitution started in the Green Dragon Inn in Boston over beers and pints? People that were irritated and lit up themselves, and they all agreed on the challenge of the British overlord empire. And over beers, over a meal, they gathered a small core and said, are we in agreement that something's going to have to be done? And if we don't do it, no one else will. Are we in agreement of this? Gather your core and treat them as gold. Movements do not start with masses. They start with a meal. Begin with a small trusted circle. And listen, spend time with them. Listen to them. Don't pour into them yet. This is not the movement yet. This is not the grand rising of the leadership yet. This is leadership, but you are not imposing direction yet. You're listening. You're spending time with them. And you're testing and retesting your message. Do I understand what these people are feeling truly? And can I express it? Leadership, first and foremost, is communication. Communication, the word's etymology, means to commune with. Leadership is communing with people. It has a commonality. Common unity is community. Leadership can communicate what the community is feeling in commonality. You get it? If you cannot articulate it, you're not a leader yet. Just own it. I'm not ready for leadership. I need to spend time with my core group. But that's where L-I-G-H-T, the G stands for gather your core. Spend time with them. You're not building a brand. Stop it. Stop building a brand. Build a tribe. And you'll be known amongst that tribe and your personal brand. If you try to build the brand is the fruit, not the root. The tribe is the root. You're not building a brand. You're building a tribe. Before the crowd, find your crew. Find your people. The faithful will give you feedback. These people who have been with you for years on years, you need to honor them. And they might be goofy, but they've stuck with you. Quit spurning the people that don't necessarily look traditional or the traditional idea of beauty or intelligence. If they've stuck with you, listen to them. They're your core. Here's your action. Here's the action. Host a private call, a private coffee, a private meeting. Get honest feedback. Invite 5 to 7 of these people together to a Zoom or a coffee. We've been doing community coffees, and we're going to reignite that because these are our people. We need to hear them and ask them this question. If you spoke up and spoke out, what message do you think you're uniquely meant to carry? They'll ask it back to you. If you spoke up, and you're asking them this, if you spoke up and spoke out and tried to lead, what message do you think you're uniquely meant to carry? And that ethos going around this coffee table time and again with these other groups of people, that will light you up, and you will learn the things you need to learn. You'll get the feedback you need to get. You'll also hone your message, but that feedback loop will also feed you and give you signal that this is good, and I need to keep going as a leader. The action is to host a private coffee, a private call, a Zoom, a dinner, a retreat, and listen to, it doesn't have to be a big to-do. This can be a simple thing, but you need to show up. This also establishes trust. This also shows that you're listening. This also builds the baseline of, well, maybe someone actually understands and can express what I'm trying to express. Because if other people are in a fog mentally and you're in a fog mentally, leadership is clarifying that thing. And if you can clarify it, they'll begin to trust you more. L-I-G-G, gather your core. H, L-I-G-H-T, H, harness. the message. What's your rallying cry? What's your rallying cry? People need a phrase that gives them fire. People need these feelings and emotions condensed almost poetically into a single line. I ignite lives of explosive significance, and you do too. It's almost poetic, and it carries with it a bunch of feelings, and it carries with it a bunch of directives. It's inspiring. What's yours? You have one inside of you. What is your rallying cry? Harness the message. You spent time with your core. You've gotten feedback. You've honed and journaled and spent time in study. If it helps, craft a rallying manifesto that speaks hope and identity and pierces through despair. Your message is not your biography. It's not your credentials. It's not your product. It's none of that. It's a flag people march under. Live free or die. That's what is the state of Vermont or New Hampshire, something like that? It's a phrase that people can wrap their head around. Live free or die. Don't tread on me. Right? There's these phrases that resonate with people. Igniting lives of explosive significance. Boom. And I might augment it. I might add things now and again to that. But igniting, it's a banner under which people can march. They know why they're doing what they're doing. What is yours? You can borrow mine, of course. But I hope that you can work on one that's deep inside of you. So here's your homework for this. LIGH, harness the message. Write a powerful 30-second statement referencing shared disillusionment and inviting transformation. One possible format that I'm offering is, we believe X even when the world says Y. Netza's here. Boom, I like Netza's. For those watching elsewhere on Facebook, Netza says, master your universe. Master your universe. Gaseous is advertising cheap viewers. Don't bother with it. So here's an example. We believe trust and truth still matter, even in a world addicted to AI content. That's just a random one. We believe X even when the world says Y. We believe we can make a difference even when the world says you can't make an impact, the problem's too big. We believe that we can inspire and ignite lives of explosive significance even though the world says they're overwhelmed and can't do another thing. We believe X even when the world says Y. Easy framework if you're not used to writing your own mission statements. I spent a ton of time on mine. I'm very comfortable with my mission statement. But you need a banner under which people can rally, and you can't just like force it on them. It has to come from the dialogue and the conversation of LIG, G, gather your core, over those conversations. H, this is harness that message. So you halfway craft the message and halfway discover it. But you have to actively spend time testing it, seeing what sticks, seeing what like lights you up, seeing what lights them up. I tested mine for over a year and a half between 2008 and 2009 while coming up with the mantra for State of the Spark. I took a whole year. I'm not exaggerating. I can show you my schedule. I took a whole year crafting my mission statement, coming up with igniting lives of explosive significance. And I realized this resonates so deeply with me. I wanted to go on my tombstone. And it literally took me a year. I'm not saying you need to take a year, but I'm saying you need to take a day, a week, a month, 2-day retreat, crafting your purpose statement, your one-line manifesto, so that people know what it is. I ignite lives of explosive significance. I help 10,000 creators lead in their field. Boom. I mean, it's a little bit bigger, but I always come back to that core. Igniting lives of explosive significance. LIGH. LIGH. T. How you're going to shine your light. T. Transform into movement. This is the thing leaders fail at right now. They stop shy of inviting people to take action for several reasons. Number one, they know they're probably going to get a no. That is true. You will probably get a lot of no's. but they are testing if you're going to keep showing up. Oftentimes when people who want to follow you say no, it is quite often because they've been burned so many times by people who start something and don't finish it, who start something and don't follow through, don't see things through to the end, that they are testing to see if you're going to come back again and again saying, no, that thing we said we were going to do, we did do it and we're going to do it again. Let's go. Whether it's a church, whether it's a business. Hey, that challenge we said we're going to grow our business by, we're going to get 5 new sales a month. That thing I said I was going to do, I stood on my feet and I stood on business and I did it. And we're trying it again. You want to participate? The church thing, the ministry thing, the societal thing, the political thing, whatever it is, they're testing to see if you are only fueled if people are giving you their resources. Whoa, Tammy Schneider. For those who don't know, on Facebook, Tammy Schneider posted, walked through the fire with wisdom, not wounds. Walked through the fire with wisdom, not wounds. Tammy, is that your mission statement? I love it. I love this mission statement. Walk through the fire with wisdom, not wounds. She's got her H here, which is harness the message. Can you wield a message that people want to come under? Who's your target audience? In Tammy's case, her target audience are people who've walked through the fire and they've taken a lot of wounds and they're wounded by it. And she is helping them repivot their perception that you can walk through the fire with wisdom, not wounds. She has the makings of a movement. She could start a book study. She could start a Bible study. She could start retreats. We're helping you walk through the fire with wisdom, not wounds. Join us in Paris. We're going to do a retreat and we're going to reflect on who we are. We're going to reflect on our mission statement. We're going to reframe our wounds as wisdom. Join me. You'll have a guided presentation in the beautiful city of Paris. Whatever it is. Or just, here's my challenge. She could just post a challenge. We're walking you through fire with wisdom, not wounds. We're going to give you a 7-day challenge. Post on TikTok a wound and have transmuted it or alchemized it into wisdom. And the best one gets a $100 gift every day for the next 7 days. However it is, give it value to them. Create a movement around them. You don't have to invite them to your thing necessarily. You can help people transform. And this is what I'm getting at right now. Tammy says it starts with mindset. So here's the T in LIGHT that I'm getting at. Thank you for that, Tammy. That's awesome. It starts with mindset. How you transform into movement, this message. Once the fire is lit, fan it into something that warms others. Once the fire is lit in you and in your core, use it as something that warms others. Invite action through participation, like I just reframed Tammy's. Join us for a 7-day challenge on TikTok or Facebook or whatever. Pick one. And you bring out a ritual. You bring out a challenge. And you make it about them. Give them instant wins. There's one particular religious institution. And they give you quick wins. They fill you full of niacin and B12 and tell you to go on an 8-mile run. And when you start feeling your skin tingle, which is very normal when you take niacin and B12, but most people don't go to the gym and take niacin and B12. They don't know that they do this in nearly every pre-workout at the gym. But this particular church/cult group will bring you in, give you niacin and B12, basically pre-workout, tell you to do an exercise, and they don't know that it's going to make their skin tingle. It makes their skin tingle. And then they tell them, listen, that's your body purging negative energy. And that quick win happened in 15 minutes, a physiological win. They've wired this principle for not good, but you can take the same principle by giving them a win that actually helps them in a 7-day challenge in Tammy's case. Light this fire, give them something to participate in, and in 7 days, help them start to see that their wounds are actual wisdom and that relief that overcomes them. You need to look for quick wins for your community that are good and that fill them full of kind of instant gratification. So leaders take sparks and build systems. That's what leaders do. They take this spark where you've raised this banner for mine, igniting lives of explosive significance, for Netza, mastering your universe, for Tammy Schneider, walking through the fire with wisdom, not wounds. And that's a spark. But then you turn that into a system. You turn it into a challenge. You turn it into something to participate in. Heck, you could just say, let's pray over this thing together. And let's share a coffee and a meal together. And that catharsis alone will hit dopamine and enrich their life enough that they will start moving. And then you say the next thing, which is, hey, invite your friends next time. The leadership flywheel has begun. Listen, I've said this before. Leadership doesn't start with the masses. It starts with a meal. You give them a quick win. This does not have to be this T in transforming into movement. It doesn't have to start as a massive launch. In fact, most of the time it's not. In fact, any product launch I've ever been a part of started with a small group of people that were bought in. They're sold out for this thing. And then they invested everything, and then it turned into a massive launch. Any of the faith traditions, Buddhism, Christianity, Hinduism, Islam, they all started with disciples in a small group. And he focused on those people. The leadership from all of those traditions focused on that small group of people, and it gave birth to the movement. They gave birth to the movement. Transforming into movement or momentum doesn't have to be a massive launch. It's a small act of alignment and followership. And they begin to trust you further, so that when you keep upping the ante and you keep raising the stakes and you keep raising the challenges, they keep stepping up, but you can't just throw them in the fire. You got to start with small wins that they benefit from. So here's your action. Launch a micro initiative, a small public event as a pilot. Start a newsletter, a weekly call, a 1 day or 1 week challenge, a local meetup, and make sure the elements there leave them feeling transformed, whether it was breath work. I've seen this happen with breath work. They work people up. You get 10 people in a room, 20 people in a room. You let them start breathing. It starts resetting their nervous system. They make themselves almost high with oxygen, and they feel transformed, and they tell their friends. And the next time it's 30 people paying $5 each to go to this yoga movement. What is your movement? And it's not just about getting money from people. I'm not trying to talk about this from an aspect of sales at all, though you can use it for that. I'm trying to give you perceptions into how to lead and how this LIGHT framework can help you lead. L, let's go back real quick and just review them, and then we're done. L, lead first. Starts with the mirror, not the mic. You have to be convicted like I am convicted right now. L, you are not leading others in this. You're leading yourself in this first one. Your journal, and the action is take 15 minutes and journal your non-negotiables. I, illuminate the challenge. You need to walk in the room and call out the thing, not the person or the people, but the thing that's wrong with the world. You light up a room by calling out the elephant in it. L, I, illuminate the challenge. Your homework with that is to actually identify just one major problem in your industry, your niche, your business, your movement, the political structure, whatever that thing is. Find one thing and write it down. You could probably write 10 down, but write at least one down. And write what no one is naming, but everyone is feeling. G, gather your core. Movements don't start with masses. They start with meals. Your homework is to host a private call, invite only, a gathering, get honest feedback during that time, and be working on your message, be testing and listening for what people are saying. H, harness that message. What's the rallying cry? Codify that mission statement, mastering your universe, walking through fire with wisdom, not words, igniting lives of explosive significance. H, harness that message. So your action is to write down your phrase, and you can incorporate disillusionment as well as what we're going to do instead, or you can just make it an inspirational mission statement. And T, transform this into movement. Have the courage to ask people to take action, to get rejected, to be cringeworthy, but you show up and do it. I remember when we were doing the Haiti thing back in 2009, before the earthquake, we were doing the Haiti thing. We had the Haiti 5K, and that 5K was always a challenge. No one wants to do a 5K, but the first few years, we got hundreds of people out there, and we were doing a 5K annually. And I cannot take any credit for this, but I was impressed that during the times that the 5K was waning, we still showed up. And in showing up, even though other people weren't showing up, we show them that when the next time we invite them, there's people out here. People want to be a part of something that's going somewhere. They want to trust that you're not going to quit when they quit. That's why they tell you no. And I said this before. People say no at first because they don't trust that you're going to keep showing up if they don't show up. They think they're the only reason you're there. People want to follow people that are convicted for their own reasons intrinsically, that can take the ups and downs, the highs and lows, because they feel like they've been carrying it the whole time. LIGHT, transform into movement, take action. And that action is to launch a micro initiative, a public meeting that has transformative elements in them. I'm talking about this for a major reason. The world needs your leadership, not just your passion, not just your interests, not just your hobby. The world needs your leadership. And if you are watching and have stuck with me for any time this morning, you are pricked somewhere inside of you that you might be a natural born leader with a natural vision, and you have held back from what you're fully capable of. And you might have had conversations with people one-on-one over coffee, or people know that when they go out with you, you might get on your little soapbox or whatever that is, but you have not translated this into massive movement, into action. You have not translated this into getting people going in your church, in your business, in your nonprofit, in your cause, in your politics, whatever it is. You might have been an armchair quarterback complaining because you see things a certain way. People are like, wow, you have a good insight. What do we do? And you're like, I don't know. What do we do? Because you're not actually leading. If you're stuck with me, you've got that going on inside of you. And my LIGHT framework right here, go back and listen to the replay, where I'll try to put the notes in the comments below. You take action on this and you will find a flow come out of you. And if you're a true leader, that flow will feed you to take the next step and the next step. And you will continue to elevate people and serve their needs the way leadership needs to do, because the world is starving for leadership. The world is hurting itself through wars and famine and neglect and isolation. And that's not good, but you can answer the call. And anyone as a natural born leader can answer that call. And it starts with a simple system. Don't wait until some divine light hits you from the sky. You be your own divine light to yourself. That's why the L in light in the framework is lead yourself first. Start with the mirror, not the mic. The world will continue to hurt itself as long as you are sitting on the sidelines. Evil exists because good men and women do nothing. I'm going to challenge you today. Here's my challenge to you. Replay this, watch the framework, and start today. My challenge is this. Capture what you feel you should be leading in. Capture it, please. Capture what you feel you should be leading in. And do the first invite to coffee. Invite me if I'm in your area, or the first Zoom call. And I want to hear you put it on the line. I want to hear you articulate it. I challenge you, if you're watching this and you DM me and say, Grant, I took you at your challenge. Will you attend? I will attend and get my entire following to show up. I'll put it out there to my entire audience. I'll email it to our email list. I'll post it to all my socials, and I myself will show up, and I will do it live like this. If you put it out there and lead your following, not everyone's going to say yes to you, but you need to start leading. I'm talking about this because the world needs people who are alive, fully alive, living in their leadership calling. No matter what you do today. I want you to do this. I want you to get going. I want you to do this homework. I want you to do the replay. But no matter what you do today, remember the mission. Igniting lives of explosive significance, starting with your own. Have a great day.